It was a night of oppressive darkness when Lucas, a desperate young man in search of a job, accepted his friend Marcos's proposal to become a night watchman in an old building located on the outskirts of the city. Upon arriving at the gloomy building, Lucas found Marcos waiting for him, his worried expression surprising Lucas. After all, wasn't the job just about watching the cameras and taking a stroll around the building? Marcos handed him a note, whose contents raised more questions than provided answers. The words printed on that yellowed paper didn't seem to make much sense, an enigmatic warning. Marcos said worriedly,
"Follow the rules stated in this note. I recommended you for this job because I know you really need it. Keep the monitoring room door locked at all costs. Start your rounds at 2 a.m. and return by 3:30 a.m., or you'll be in danger."
Not fully understanding, Lucas thought it might be a prank to scare the rookie. Driven by a mix of curiosity and unease, he entered the monitoring room and locked the door behind him. Minutes turned into hours, everything still and quiet. Lucas glanced at the monitoring screens, and as he watched, some of them flickered and showed distorted images of the building's rooms. Then, on one of the cameras, a woman's back appeared in the image. Lucas had never worked during the early hours of the morning, but he knew that there shouldn't be anyone there at that time.
Is this part of the prank?
The young man wondered. Checking the time, it wasn't yet time to start his rounds and kick out whoever it was from the building or confront the joke his friend Marcos was playing. The woman continued to stand there, motionless, while shadows passed swiftly around her. Rubbing his eyes, Lucas thought,
"I must be delirious,"
because the woman had vanished. He heard a crying sound coming from the other side of the door. Putting his ear closer to the door, he heard a female voice crying. Lucas said,
"Miss? Are you okay? What are you doing here?"
And the woman replied,
"Help me! Open the door and come help me!"
Lucas grabbed the keys and was about to open the door, exclaiming,
"How very funny, Marcos. Now you even have a paid actress to scare me?"
Thinking it was the woman who had been on the cameras moments ago. But as Lucas put the key in the door, about to open it, a chill ran down his spine. Looking back at the monitoring cameras before opening, to his terror, there was no one there. Lucas slowly backed away from the door and kept it locked. With screams and threats, the previously female voice now had a guttural tone and called his name.
"Lucas, open the door!"
Whatever was on the other side was violently pounding on the door. Terrified, Lucas looked at the cameras and couldn't understand, as he couldn't see anything at all, and yet the door was being beaten. Cowering in the corner of the room, he covered his ears. And everything fell silent. On the cameras, everything was calm. It was 2 a.m., the time for his rounds. Terrified, Lucas scanned the cameras with full attention, searching for the haunting presence calling his name behind the door. The young man tried to call his friend Marcos, but his cell phone wasn't working. Not even messages were being sent. Questioning his own sanity, Lucas gathered his courage and opened the door, heading out to do his rounds. After all, it was only his first day, and he was certain that if he didn't even complete the first day properly, he would be fired. Everything went smoothly. Lucas jumped at the slightest noise, locking the rooms as he passed through and making sure there was no one inside the building. As he reached the last room, he locked it and sighed.
"Finally, I think I'll take a nap in here."
Turning around, Lucas saw a child running down the hallway of the building. Fearful, the young man decided to ignore it and return to the monitoring room since it was already 3 a.m., and he had 30 minutes to get back. In the corridor leading to the room, Lucas heard the sound of children laughing behind him. A cold sensation ran down his spine, and he froze. Was it the child he had seen running down the hallway? And what was this terrible feeling? A massive fear spread throughout his body. Summoning his courage, Lucas turned around and saw a black mass moving towards him. The mass was a jumble of bodies, human parts joined together unnaturally. At that moment, he was grateful for not having followed the voices the first time he heard them, and with each lamp the monstrous mass of decaying bodies passed under, the light went out. The monstrous mask called out his name with dozens of children's voices at once.
Lucas!
Lucas turned and ran like never before. The mask moved rapidly toward Lucas, crashing into the door. In desperation, he grabbed the keys, trembling, and struggled to unlock the door. He swung it open and slammed it shut, locking it again. On the other side of the door, the monstrous mask shouted Lucas's name and pounded on the door violently. It seemed as though the monstrosity would break down the door and add Lucas to its grotesque figure. On the cameras, nothing could be seen. How was it possible for the door to be under attack and yet nothing was visible on the cameras? Locking himself in the bathroom of the monitoring room, he eventually fell asleep after all the panic. Lucas was awakened at daybreak by Marcos, who found him lying on the bathroom floor of the monitoring room. Marcos asked his friend if he had followed the rules. Exhausted, Lucas said yes and that he would have to find another job.